3. On today's show, now that the Lakers have been eliminated, is the AD for Kyrie Irving sign and trade back on? Is that deal back on? Are the Lakers back in the Kyrie Irving business? We'll talk about that. Some more deals on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks.
Dallas Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
And welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show, listening every day, and making Locked On Mavs your first listen each and every day. Join the Raccoon Squad, be an everydayer, subscribe or follow for free. Just search Locked On Mavericks wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. But the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day and to comment anything below. Let us know in the comment section. Would you do a Kyrie Irving for Anthony Davis trade? Just straight up, would you do that? Today's episode is brought to you by Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA. When you enter the promo code LockedOnNBA, they'll throw in a free custom Bird Dogs Yeti-style tumbler. I got one. Isaac's got one. They'll do that with every order. If you want to support the show, text us. Get text alerts from us on Mavs rumors and more throughout the offseason. Subscribe to our subtext. Click the link in the description below. And joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, contributor at Mavs.com. The Laker lover, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
Call me Laker lover one more time. I just want, guys. I just, I got a lot of time. I got to take a lot of time right now to think about just my future and what's going on. And I don't know if I want to pod next year. And hey, does anybody else want to hear? Can I interview with anybody else so I can get this out there more? That I just don't know if I'm gonna play next year. I got a lot to think about.
Did you get it out of your system?
I just want to tell you that right now.
Did you get it out of your system?
I want to make sure that I stay in the limelight and keep the attention.
On today's show, we'll get into, we'll talk about a Jared Allen deal that we saw on our friends, the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. They put up a Jared Allen deal, so we'll talk about that.
They're about to be our best friends.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little later. But we want to start with Celtics and Lakers potential trades. The Celtics almost eliminated. We thought they would be eliminated tonight, but they weren't. They forced a game 5. The Lakers were eliminated, though, so we'll start here with them. When the Lakers made the Western Conference Finals, I think a lot of us looked at that team and said, well, and we heard reports from Mark Stein and from others that said the Lakers are not interested in Kyrie Irving. They think that they've righted the ship, or they've gotten back to winning ways, and they've figured out a way for them to win and succeed. And then they go get swept in the Western Conference Finals. And for any normal team, you'd think, wow, what a turnaround. You start 2-10, you're terrible all year, and then all of a sudden you make this turnaround and make the Western Conference Final. That's not enough for LeBron. It just isn't every year. And he's been fairly patient with this Lakers thing so far, wherein he makes them go get Anthony Davis, but then they have some off years and all that. Like, we haven't seen the same kind of push that he did on Cleveland. Like, that was a next level push that he made for that front office to improve that team. Now we're seeing, like Isaac joked earlier about it's wearing on me. I may retire. Trying to put pressure, to me at least, that shows signs of trying to put pressure on the front office. Isaac just thinks he's a narcissist, but he's trying to put pressure on the front office. To do that, are the Lakers back in the Kyrie Irving business? And that matters for the Mavericks, because then it would have to be some kind of sign and trade.
Yeah, I mean, I joke. I think it can be both of them. I think he does love the narrative attention.
Now.
No, because I do think it's both. He does love the narrative attention spotlight and controlling that, but I do think it is a way for him to put pressure on Pelinka and them too. Let me just you don't want to go get Kyrie. You're not interested in Kyrie. Well, let me think about taking a year off and just hanging out at USC with Bronny, and then just going to whatever team Bronny signs or, gets drafted by a year later. But that I'm a little bit more scared now just because of the fashion in which they went out. Like you said, I mean, to get swept like that is
to just look worse in every way. Like in every facet of the game, it seemed like Anthony Davis just got outplayed in like so clearly by Jokic and so clearly, and the Lakers guards obviously so clearly got outplayed by Jamal Murray. They just had no shot and no chance to even keep up with them. In almost any facet of the game, it felt like LeBron had to put together an insane, some would call an impressive fight in this. I mean, they looked so impressive getting beat 4-0. This is the most impressive sweep I've
Yeah, that's incredible.
I don't know if you guys have seen the Brian Windhorst clip of him saying that this was the most impressive sweep that he's ever seen. Then LeBron's was the most impressive.
My God, that is the definition of carrying that water. His back is hurting.
He carried that all the way up the hill, all the way up to the Hollywood sign, and then poured it back down. But LeBron still had to go put up 40 in a game 4, and they still lost that game. Like they just couldn't get it. And so, seeing how far away they are, does it reopen talks for Kyrie Irving? And that brings it to us. Let's just talk about this. If LeBron pushed him and was like, "Hey, AD's not it. Like he's every other day, whether he plays or not, injury wise. But even when he's out there, like he's got to bring it. He was supposed to be the best player on this team, and he wasn't. What if they did? What if they said, "All right, we'll trade Anthony Davis for Kyrie Irving, straight up. Do the sign and trade, send it in." If you're the Mavericks, how do you respond?
Well, it kind of depends on what Kyrie wants, right? There's if Kyrie goes to you and says, "Hey, like I want to play for the Lakers. I was at game 4. I was sitting courtside again."
Yeah, I was in the first round. I wasn't there in the second round.
Him and Trae Young.
Yeah,
shout out Trae Young. But no, if Kyrie goes to, we talked the other day about the D'Angelo Russell. I think Windhorst even threw that out there. It's like, Dallas would have to cooperate and all this stuff. We joked about that, or we said like Dallas does not have to cooperate with the Lakers. They don't.
Could, but they're not forced to.
Exactly, they're not forced to. There is a world that the Lakers could try to create some cap space. Kyrie had to take a little bit less money, and they could probably make it work, like that, because it's not. They don't have a ton of salary, next year outside of AD and LeBron. But the AD one, you got to listen to, if Kyrie goes to you and says, "Hey, I want to go to the Lakers. I am actually even willing to go there for a little bit less money, for in the 30s or something." That's what they can create in cap space. But they're interested in a complete, like, kind of switch up of that roster, and they are interested in Anthony Davis, type trade. That's what LeBron wants, let's say all of that. If that's the case and Kyrie wants out, Kyrie wants to go to the Lakers, Anthony Davis is probably the best consolation prize you could possibly imagine.
Because you're not getting something like that from Phoenix.
Yes, because the other packages that they have, I'm just not interested in. I mean, we said the other day, I don't want any part of D'Angelo Russell.
No.
We have talked about, I mean, we have looked into, could they put together, somehow a sign and trade with Rui and Vanderbilt, and would Reeves have to be a sign and trade separate from that? Could they walk away from it with like Rui, Reeves, their 16th overall pick, and Vanderbilt, and you're like, all right, that's, yeah. And it's like, okay. That's okay. That's better than the D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley thing. But if Kyrie wants to go to the Lakers and they're willing to put Anthony Davis on the table for that, I will say I don't think Colin Cowherd's thing is far off base that he said the other day. But you could do worse in consolation prizes.
We're coming up. Let's talk about, should they do it? If it's in front of them and it's offered, should the Mavericks do that, or should they try and figure out something else? We'll talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Bird Dogs. Ooh, Bird Dogs. They make incredible shorts and clothing and all kinds of stuff. You need to check it out and see what they have at Bird Dogs. The fit, the comfort, the versatility. One of the things we like about it best is, it's Texas, it's summer. A lot of us work in these the offices or places where it's a little more casual. The dress is not, you don't have to wear pants. And so I'm not going around in pants if I don't have to.
Let's just say you can wear shorts. I'd wear it that way.
And if you're going to wear shorts, and if you can wear shorts to your office, to a meeting or whatever, Bird Dogs has the ones for you. So go check out birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA. You can get a free tumbler with every purchase if you go to that URL. Again, birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA. And it is Bird Dogs, like the two animals. Yeah. See everything that they have available there. Go check it out. Again, the promo code LockedOnNBA, and you'll get a free custom Bird Dogs Yeti tumbler for all that. So check out the clothing. Love the shorts. I've been wearing them. You've been wearing them. They're awesome. They have like a lining. They feel super, super comfortable and all that. Again, check it out. birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA. All right, Isaac Harris. You do need to wear pants.
I just love how you worded that. We're in Texas. Some of our jobs a little bit more casual. You don't have to wear pants. Somebody's listening to this like, okay, how casual?
If I don't have to wear pants, then I'm not going to wear pants.
I guess technically you don't have to wear pants for your job.
I'm not wearing pants now.
Don't stand up.
Let's keep talking about this. If the Lakers were, or if the Mavs were offered the Lakers Anthony Davis for Kyrie Irving and said, hey, we want to move on from this. We think reuniting LeBron and Kyrie gives us a better shot than what Anthony Davis was able to give us. Do you do it? And to me, I think you have to. I think you have to at that point.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Because you're not getting something better from Phoenix, and there is a chance the Kyrie wild card. I've been holding it. Do I have a card? The Kyrie wild card of just like, hey, this is my wild card. I could play
you
it.
Just have a random business card.
No, it's a credit card.
Blockbuster.
No, it's a Venmo card. You can play it. I could play this wild card at any point and just do something off the wall. I'm taking a year off. I'm taking a month off. I'm retiring from basketball. He could play. I'm going to go to the Lakers for the mid-level exception, or he could do any of those things. You just don't know. I don't think that he'll do those things. Logic tells you that he shouldn't do any of those things. He should take the money from the Mavericks and try to make it work in Dallas, a team that will flip over backwards for him and do cartwheels at any moment for him because they're so desperate and need that talent. But if you could get Anthony Davis, is Luka and Anthony Davis and all the other stuff that they could do, they would still have the 10th pick to do something. They'd still have a future pick to do something. Is that team good enough? Like, does that team, you feel better about that team?
Yeah, it's good enough. Yeah, for sure. Because the whole thing about letting, like, if Kyrie wanted to go to the Lakers, and I even said this the other day, I'm like, if 80's not on the table, I'm like, I'd almost just rather just take the cap space, right? I'd take the cap space over Russell and Beasley package.
Yes,
I'm sorry, it's just like how I view that. But whatever you could possibly get in free agency this summer is not going to be the same as Anthony Davis. So if Anthony Davis is on the table, you're not going to sit there and say, no, y'all can keep AD. We're going to chase blank in free agency. And it's like, so if it's on the table, yes, you take Anthony Davis and you pair him with Luka. He's 30 years old. He's under contract for a couple more years. We could talk about all the history stuff. I'm not even going to do the whole like fit and all that stuff. If he's on the table, you take him. I think one of the questions of this, what I've been trying to entertain a little bit, which is, it's just really sad, but let's say 80's not on the table, and the more likely realistic scenario is like they're going to try to chase Kyrie without giving up Anthony Davis. You totally get that.
Yeah.
But is there somebody, what if they attach that first round pick to a D'Angelo Russell, whatever that package is, could you flip that somewhere else? Could you turn it into a 3-team deal to where it's like a rebuilding team that would value that first round pick a little bit more, that would give you something else besides a D'Angelo Russell that you would be okay with? Because here's the tricky thing about signing trades too, that there's so many different layers to it that, the receiving team that's getting the sign and traded player is now going to be hard capped. A player that you're going to sign and trade to another team, that player has to get a deal at least 3 years. Let's just say they sign and traded D'Angelo Russell. Well, whoever they trade him to has to agree to at least a 3-year deal for D'Angelo Russell. So have fun with that.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's just something I've been trying to think.
The Warriors had fun with that and sent him off like almost immediately afterwards.
Well, okay. Let me say this real quick. It's kind of related, but this kind of goes into, we got another tweet today and was like, hey, what about the Christian Wood sign and trade? Can we get anything from that? Here's the hurdles with the Christian Wood sign and trade. Shocking here. I don't think Christian Wood's value is like going to net him $25 million a year right now. No. I would go out on a limb and say the contract that Christian Wood signs this summer is probably going to try to be another like prove it deal, because I personally don't think teams are going to be lining up to give him a 4-year deal somewhere. And if they do, it's going to be at an average annual salary that we know Adam Pensac's not going to be about. So I think that's the tricky part about this, is to sign and trade Christian Wood. You're going to have to sign him to at least a 3-year deal, which he's not probably going to agree to. So that's why I'm not even really like putting my mind around sign and trade things to get back for Christian Wood. I mean, unless it's somebody like the Clippers and they're like, hey, Nick Batum for Christian Wood, and we'll take Christian Wood on a 3-year deal. But then you're going to have to get Christian Wood to agree on a deal around like $11 million a year, $10 million a year. I just don't know. Do they, realize that that's probably what his value is now? I don't know. Sorry, that was a separate tangent that it kind of related to it with sign and trade.
Yeah, no, and that's, you have to find value. Like, you have to find where the value is. And so I think if I think Kyrie is more valuable to the Lakers than he is to any other team besides Dallas in the NBA right now, because of LeBron, because of where they are, because of the pressure that he can put. And so that's why you talk about, could Anthony Davis be the one? I don't think so. You also heard Rob Pelinka today say that's a high priority to keep our core players together. And then Kyle Kuzma quote tweeted that quote and said, I've heard that before. So,
whoa, no, he didn't. I didn't see that. Oh, that's incredible.
So, but to me, their core players are LeBron, AD, Reeves.
It's just stop there.
Rui, Vanderbilt, Lonnie Walker may have become one because of some of his.
There's no way they can keep him.
But Reeves and Rui are restricted free agents, so they have to figure out how to keep them. Lonnie Walker and D'Angelo Russell are unrestricted free agents. Vanderbilt has $4.6 million, like 1-year deal left. Mo Bamba's got his non-guaranteed. I don't know what he counts as, because he's been injured. Would he have played? Who knows? Malik Beasley's got a team option. They've just got some weird stuff. And so
I will say this: they have some pieces that I would be interested in.
Sure,
but not for like swapping out Kyrie. Like, I do think Rui or Austin Reeves or Jared Vanderbilt, like, if they got moved around, there's other separate deals and they ended up somehow in Dallas, or Dallas could get one of those guys for the MLE or something like that, I would be down, because I like a lot of those guys.
But even if you got Rui and Reeves, or if you just let's just Rui or Reeves and Vanderbilt. Let's just say it's Rui and Vanderbilt. You basically just recouped what you sent for Kyrie. And maybe they get the 17th pick in the draft from the Lakers. Like, you basically just recouped what you sent out for Kyrie, right? You sent out Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and a future first. You basically just recouped that. So maybe some people would want to press the reset. I don't think the Mavericks can afford to do that. And so I don't think you can.
That's the thing. Yeah.
I don't think you can do a Kyrie trade unless it's Anthony Davis. And I don't think the Lakers are going to do that. So I think that it's not going to happen, because, again, like we said a couple times, the Mavericks are not. They don't have to do any of these deals, because I don't think that anybody else can get Kyrie unless they got to do a lot of stuff. The Lakers would have to just lose everybody, and it's a high priority for them to keep their core players together, according to their GM today, even though a former player disagrees with that sentiment. But that's what it is right now. And so, yeah, I think the conversation has opened up, at least for us to talk about it, but I don't know if the conversation is opened back up on the Lakers side of things. The other thing about the Lakers that people are talking about, they got swept. Yes, they seem so far away. They also just put this team together. Sometimes it takes a little bit in a training camp and an off season to figure out what you are, to be a little bit better. Maybe they get a little bit closer. I don't think they'd match Denver, but they'd probably be better than they were if they had a full season, instead of just like, they basically threw this team together in a month. And
Malik Beasley, didn't he say in his ex interviews that give us a training camp and I don't see anybody beating us in a series next year?
That's some great confidence from a guy that couldn't play in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yes, tell me more. Tell me more.
But I do think that I don't think that they're as in desperate they're like in a desperate state. Maybe LeBron thinks that, and maybe that's why he floated the retirement thing out there.
Well, I mean, because that's the other thing. It's like, what's the other if
What are
they
the
want
other
to keep,
moves? Yeah.
and LeBron wants them to go all in for something.
Well, they're doing the same thing the Mavs are doing. They're like, all right, we have this Beasley contract, we have this Bamba contract, and we have this 17th pick, and let's try to move some of these things around and try and get some talent for it and get a couple, one or two more scorers is what they're trying to get.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have to entertain the sign and trade market. It's just the moment that they sign and trade somebody, they're hard capped, and you already have AD and LeBron making over 40-something million. Because like, there's a world where I'm like, could they call up Phoenix and say like, hey, Beasley, Bamba, and the 16th pick for Chris Paul? It's like, it's like stuff like that. So let them do their thing. I just don't want to do business with them. So please, Kyrie, don't go there. Coming up after the break, I'll throw at you a different three-way Kyrie trade if he wants to go somewhere else.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's keep running with this. We'll talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about FanDuel. FanDuel has everything covered for the NBA Finals. They have all kinds of different stuff. You can check out FanDuel Sportsbook and see what they have. They have all kinds of stuff that you can put money down on. Go check out. They already have. This is insane. They have Rookie of the Year 2023-24. Wembanyama versus the field. That's the first thing that came up when I searched FanDuel NBA. Wembanyama is minus 245. The field is plus 186. Wow. That's interesting. So you put down $100 on the field, and if the field wins, you win $186. You have to put down $245 to win $100 on Victor Wembanyama. I think I put money on the field on that one. Just for sake of what if he doesn't play enough games, or what if he, I don't know, Scoot Henderson goes off for the Hornets or something. I don't know, but
it's just going to be all him in San Antonio. And I mean, he could average like 22 a game next year.
What if they try to play team basketball or something, These other teams, the Rockets, the Rockets.
What's the odds for Grady Dick?
Hornets. He's the field plus 186. He's in the field. So if you want to check out check out all kinds of other stuff on FanDuel Sportsbook. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. All right, Isaac Harris, we're talking about the Lakers and the Mavericks. Are the sign and trade options open back up for Kyrie to the Lakers? We talked about Anthony Davis before. We'll probably push off the Jared Allen conversation, and maybe we'll hit Celtics.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we'll push it off to a different day because we're going in on this Lakers thing. So, yeah, give me your other Kyrie option.
Okay. What if Kyrie wanted to go to Phoenix? Could they loop in Boston somehow? In some framework of a Kyrie to Phoenix.
Hold on. Does he sound sad to anybody else? Guys, like, does Isaac sound sad to anybody else?
Because like doing these hypotheticals is just not fun. Because I still think he's coming back.
This is like a Charlie Brown fake trade. Like, this is like if Charlie Brown set up a fake trade.
All right. There's obviously other pieces that you'd have to put it with this to make it work. But the framework of Kyrie to Phoenix, Jaylen Brown to Dallas, DeAndre Ayton and Chris Paul to Boston.
Whew. Yeah, the stuff is going to Boston for sure. The Mavericks are sending more stuff to Boston.
The 10th pick is going to Boston.
It'd be funny to have Kyrie in a Boston deal where he doesn't go to Boston because he's not going back there. That's for sure. That'd be amazing. That'd be to get Jaylen Brown for Kyrie in some way, even if you have to add some stuff to it.
Yeah,
that's a steal.
Can we talk about Boston, even though they won?
Yeah. We thought they'd be eliminated, so we've been talking about these teams that have been eliminated, and if the Mavs can, vulture some stuff from them.
Yeah, they're just buying time.
Hey, I can't. Hey, they said don't let them get one. Don't let them get one.
Yeah,
they got one.
I can't tell you how much I've made a complete kind of 180 on Grant Williams. I was I did that solo pod like a month ago, and I was like, I don't even know if I would make the call on Grant Williams. And there's just been something about the playoffs, man, of just I get it. He poked the bear with Jimmy, but
yeah,
he was the only dude that was willing to actually get up in there and do the thing. And I don't know. I think you'd be a decent Maverick, and he wears Luka's every game.
He has. That's true. He has worn them.
He loves those shoes, man.
I've been in on him. I think he's like a competitive idiot and not just like an idiot in general. You know, like you need some of those kind of guys where you need a guy that's just like, all right, I know
he's a smart idiot.
I know I'm not. He's a competitive idiot. I know he's not. I'm not.
He is the definition though of like the guy in the room that's like looking around and he's like, yeah, and he's like laughing and he thinks everybody's laughing with him, but really the people are laughing at him. But I don't know. I like his game. I think what he brings to the table would be great in Dallas.
He's always been a great shooter. He's been a good defender on bigger like bigs. Because he's just strong and he's just built stocky, and that's exactly what the Mavericks need. They need somebody like that because they have Reggie, they have Josh, who are like better on smaller like guard types. They don't have that bigger wing. Shout out to Valerie. She sent me this and she sent us this really long thing on Grant Williams about how like he's talkative and goofy, but that way helps with the vibes and strengthens the defense. Like they do need somebody. The Mavs do need somebody like that. I'd be down. It felt like in Game 3. When the Celtics were losing, it felt like Grant Williams and Marcus Smart were the only ones that cared at all. And so I'd take those guys any day of the week.
It feels like people don't like him, and that part's kind of weird. Like, is he in the top 5 of like, it's like him, Rudy Gobert, Pat Beverly?
Do we also, he's part of the Players Association, right? Like, isn't he like high up? Are they mad about the new CBA?
Dwight might sign off on him coming to Dallas. Okay.
That's true. He may know him from that.
Say Boston gets put out.
Yeah.
And they call up Dallas and they're like, hey, Marcus Smart for pick 10.
Oh, I would do that.
I know.
I'm 100% down.
Smart for Hardaway and 10.
Hardaway and 10, I'm in. Give it to me because that's the type of player that this team needs. Imagine a Kyrie, Marcus Smart, Luka backcourt. That's it. That's your perfect back. You're not getting another player besides Drew Holiday that's better fit with those two guys.
So I haven't been as like I would do it. I haven't been as like 100% as you. And I was texting somebody about it today, and they said, "But you're all in on Draymond. Why not Marcus Smart?"
Right.
And they're like, "It's basically a shorter Draymond." And I was like, "Okay, well, yeah, that's a valid point."
He is.
So,
and he shoots a little bit better than Draymond.
So I feel like I have to just by my reasonings.
By the transitive property, you just got.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I would do it. Yeah.
Yeah. The thing. I'd be interested to see how he would respond to like standing in the corner a little bit more than he does, but he does some. They've kind of unlocked him by being a playmaker, and I don't know how he fits with the Mavs offense, but again, you do that deal 100 times out of 100.
I feel like sometimes I'm watching games and I'm like, I think that I feel like the idea of him is a little bit more than what he is as far as the.
Have you been watching those games this season?
Yeah,
that's because the idea of the that's the whole Celtics thing. Every Celtics game I've watched this season, they're either it's the idea of the Celtics is good or they don't like carry it out, and you're like, oh, I can see where this team should be really good, and then they're just not. Like I feel like this whole team has had this weird like zombie mentality. They've either been awesome or they've just been like, why isn't this team better? It's like every time they lose.
So what if they get just smashed in game 5 and they're like, all right, we got to shake up.
Yeah.
Not even the coach said, like, we got to shake up some of the roster. Would you do a bigger deal with them to get Rob Williams with Marcus Smart?
Yes.
And you're including the 10th pick and Tim and Maxey and, something else?
Yes. Yeah, I would do Rob Williams and Marcus Smart in some kind of deal. Marcus Smart making $18.5 million next year. Rob Williams making $11.5. So you're basically having to find $30 million to send to the Celtics in some way. However you can make it happen, you do it. Because if you can get Luka, Kyrie, and add Marcus Smart and Robert Williams to it, that's a great offseason. That's both things in the offseason they needed to do that they could do in one move.
Yeah. Health's been a little issue probably.
Tough, yeah.
Smart a little bit too, but yeah, in a way they're kind of like the Raptors in the sense of like you look at the roster and you're like, yeah, I think a lot of you would work great in Dallas.
Yeah,
like if Dallas is in trade negotiations with Boston, I'm like, all right, I'm feeling confident. There's a lot of guys, and then they trade for like Luke Cornett. I'm like, seriously, but no, I mean it would
be Luke Cornett among all of them.
Yeah, it would. Anyway, that's my Boston thoughts. Obviously, we talked about Jaylen Brown earlier. If they do put Jaylen Brown on the market, it want to be a little cold if he qualifies for this massive contract, and then they're like, I don't know, we might trade you before we even give you an extension. If they do put him on the market, I think Dallas should put everything that they have on the table for him because I think he'd be perfect next to Luka. But I do think Dallas would get outbid. I think you would see a Brooklyn, a Houston. I think you would see some of these teams come in and just lay down four firsts.
Can you imagine an unprotected Houston pick in that deal? Like you're not beating that with anything.
No. And like they got some young players. I just think Dallas gets outbid pretty quick for a Jaylen Brown. So
yeah, it would be great. Obviously, he'd be a great player next to Luka, but they can't do it. There's just they don't have enough stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe before they did the Kyrie deal, then you have 3 firsts. Then you're starting to get there. But yeah.
Maybe before.
So, all right, there you go. There are Lakers and Celtics ideas for us. Let us know in the comment section. Would you do Kyrie for a signing trade for Anthony Davis? Would you do that? I'm curious if people would say no and what you would say. But we'll talk about that Jared Allen deal in a couple days. Tomorrow, we're going to do our Taylor Hendricks draft profile. We did our Anthony Black draft profile yesterday. We'll do the Taylor Hendricks one tomorrow. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.